The Kathasaritsagara, meaning the ocean of stories, is very famous for its unique storytelling, being the influence that inspired the Arabian Nights and other works found in other cultures. The Kathasaritsagara is a compilation of stories put together by Somadeva of Kashmir. He mentions that these stories have existed for centuries before him. Its level of Sanskrit is not extraordinary either, and it was mostly popular among the merchant classes. So what makes it so important for mystical insight? What makes it a must-read for the mystical journey is the importance it puts in storytelling, and why stories matter. The goal of the Kathasaritsagara is to enjoy life and marvel at its incredible beauty and complexity, and its different emotions and tastes, and to be in awe of the rich tapestry that makes up existence. Although the Kathasaritsagara begins with an invocation to Shiva, the religious themes are rooted in fact on Shaktism, where existence is a manifestation of the goddess in her various forms. Shiva begins by telling a story to his wife Parvati, the goddess, a story which nobody has ever heard before. The stories are Shiva's way, who is the source of all consciousness, of showing to Parvati, who is the source of all energy in existence, how to see herself in these stories. And in Shaktism, Shiva is one with Parvati. He is the conscious aspect of her supreme existence. The Kathasaritsagara uses an open-ended storytelling technique where one story ends by beginning another story, and that story in turn ends by beginning another story. These inexhaustible stories are contained in frame narratives, which lead to and are included in other frame narratives, showing how everything in existence is in fact interconnected. The frame narrative begins with Shiva and Parvati, then becomes another frame narrative as Malyavan, who overhears a private conversation between the two gods, and then is cursed to become Gunadhiya, and as a penance he writes the collection of stories that's known as the KATHA. This collection of stories relates the legends of divine beings known as the Vidyadhara. Out of all these far extended stories, only one fragment remains to frame the collection of stories Somadeva actually tells us. So we get a small portion of an entire giant collection. This frame narrative tells the complete story of Naravahanadatta, a prince of the Vidyadhara, who goes through life's challenges and passions, is given advice as stories by his counselors, and then he himself tells his own story up until the point where he begins to tell the story. This is a mystical way to blur the lines of linear time and see existence as a continuous cycle. The stories show that even though we may be different beings living in different times, in different lands, we all experience life in the same way. Hinduism accepts there are different stages of life, such as being a student, then a worker, then a family man, or a person leading a family, and finally an ascetic. We all go through such stages as we go through life, as we experience passion and attraction, love and commitment, friendship and betrayal, anger and frustration, guilt and regret, and then we die, only to start again. Mental activity has many stories going on in our mind all the time, one after the other, one branching from the other, and oftentimes these stories will repeat in cycles. When we become conscious of having seen something before, the story in our minds takes a new path, and we see existence in a brand new way, leading to a brand new story. So in the next following videos that I will make, we will look at each of these 18 books of the Kathasaritsagara and analyze each small story, story by story, and see the meaning behind it.